Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So I'm going to be showing you all the books I read in October. Now I was having a great beginning of the month, but then at the end it kind of got like slow where I didn't really read much of the last week because I went away and so I never actually got a chance to. But now I'm hoping November will be a better month because I have nothing to do in November. So I read quite a few books, I haven't counted. Okay, so I've read 23 books this month, which honestly is quite good. Like I'm proud of that, considering that I technically had a week less of reading. But I am currently reading 2 at the moment. I'm hoping to finish them both today. So that is In Her Pumpkin Patch and The Kiss Curse, which is the second book from the XX. So those are the 2 I'm not reading. I will let you guys know in my November reads if I finished those 2 books in time. So yeah, let's just get right on into the video. So the first book I read in October was Ballet Master by Casey Mint. Now this was me just trying out this new author because I heard someone on YouTube, I can't remember who it was, talking about her, but they were saying that they don't really enjoy her book, so I was just, you know, intrigued. And they are novellas, so I thought I'll give it a go. And I can't remember what I rated this. I'm pretty sure it was either 1 or 2 stars. It wasn't really for me, to be honest, and I kind of skim read it, to be honest. Would I recommend it? Probably not, but it was a nice quick read, I suppose. The book that I read after that was Nothing Less by Anna Todd. This was a reread for me, so I actually read this sometime in 2020 and I enjoyed it at the time. I rated it 5 stars, but then I reread it and I actually gave it 3 stars because obviously my taste in reading has changed since then, and I enjoyed it, but like the writing style, some of the things that was like the way things were done, I noticed those things now that I've read a lot more books and better writing. So yeah, I did knock it down to 3 stars, but I still did enjoy the read. Next I read Ballet for Aunties by Jessie A. Sutanto. I think that's how I'm saying it. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. This I rated, I think it was 4 stars. I don't have the ratings with me. I should probably get them up. But I actually really enjoyed this book. I read it for a video, which was my favourite booktube was Choose My Next Read, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave that in the description so you can check that video out. But wow, like I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, because it was like a different kind of thing where basically she went on a date and she accidentally killed her date, and so then she has to try and hide the body, and her 4 aunties help. It was an interesting read, but I did enjoy it and I finished it quite fast. After that I read Life Model by Casey Mint and The Dean by Casey Mint. I'll do these together. Again, I rated this like 1 or 2 stars. I really didn't enjoy it. I again kind of skim read these and I just wanted something nice and quick to read, so that is why I picked it up. But would I recommend? Probably not. Okay, here I have the ratings. So Ballet Master 1 star, Nothing Less 3 stars, Ballet for Aunties 4 stars, Life Model 1 star, and The Dean 1 star. So those are what I've rated it. Then I read Stuck With You by Ellie Hazelwood. Again, this is like one of those quick ones. It's kind of more of like a novella, and there's like 3 of them, and I think they've been combined into one book now. I could be wrong, where you can like buy all 3 of the novellas in one big book. Let me know if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is now. But I rated this 4 stars. It was actually really interesting, considering I thought I wouldn't like it from the concept, because if I remember correctly from this, they're stuck in an elevator and their enemies, like, they hate each other. I'm pretty sure they're like I think they had a one night stand and then it ended badly and they've hated each other, and then all of a sudden they're stuck in an elevator together. I think that is what kind of like, yeah. After that I read Below Zero, also by Ellie Hazelwood, which is part of the 3 series thing. I rated this 3 stars. I still enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as Stuck With You. So that is all really. After that I read The Selection by Kira Cass. This I rated 4 stars. Believe it or not, I actually didn't think I would enjoy it. I didn't think it would be my thing because it's a YA, and I don't really enjoy YA as much as like adult personally. But because I was reading it for that my favourite booktuber Choose My Next Read video, I read it and I actually really enjoyed it. And will I continue with the series? Most likely. because I want to know what happens. I also didn't think I would enjoy it because I heard there's a love triangle in it, which obviously there is, like, you know. But it at the moment hasn't bothered me too much, so you know, it could end good. Let me know if you'd like a reading vlog of me finishing the series. Like, that might be interesting. I did film some clips for the first book, like to add into like 2 videos. So I was basically filming 2 videos while reading that one book, but I don't know if I'll add those clips because there was, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so just let me know if you'd like me to do a reading vlog of me finishing that series. After that, I read The Dark One by Nikki St. Croix. So this I rated 3 stars. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is the second book in that series. Now, the first book I read in one of my reading vlogs. I can't remember what one, but you'll probably find it somewhere if you search on my channel. And I was saying that, like, I liked it, but it was kind of like a weird concept for me. It was different because it's like a Peter Pan retelling, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, and I also said that I probably won't continue with the series, but I thought they're nice and quick, and I fancied something a bit weird, a bit strange, you know, something different. And considering it's October, I thought it would be the right time. So I read it, and I rated 3 stars. So I did continue the series. After that, I read Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have a whole book review on my channel of this book. I read it in one sitting. I loved it. It was amazing. I did rate it 4 stars. I do highly recommend it. I've been meaning to read this since summer. Like, you've probably heard me keep saying, I need to read this, I need to read this, if you've been here for a while. And I finally did, and I'm so glad that I did. Like, wow, love it. After that, I read The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. So this I read because it's October and people were saying that it's better to read it around Halloween time, which I agree with. It definitely is better to read around Halloween time, and I rated it 3 stars. I thought I would enjoy it a lot more than I did, to be honest, and I did write a review. Okay, so I'm going to read my review on Goodreads to you. I like the characters and the vibes of the book. The only problem for me is something happens and then they have to go fix it or come up with a plan. And I felt like they solved the scenarios so quickly and easily at times. I'd have preferred for them to have more of a challenge. So yeah, they would always have like an issue, but they would solve it so easily and it would make it seem like not a big deal or not a challenge. So I think that maybe a bit more like drama could have been put into it to make it interesting. I don't know. Okay, after that I read Until I Met You. This I also read in a reading vlog, and I rated it 2 stars. It wasn't for me. I read it because it's from Amber Rose Gill, which is and she's from Love Island. So my personal opinion for me is when I read books that aren't from authors, basically, like if they're a celebrity, if they have been on like a show, whatever, I personally find I don't enjoy those kind of books, except for the Jeanette McCurdy one. I enjoyed that one, but other than that, I find I don't enjoy them. So I thought I will give it a go, and I did hear mixed feelings about this book, and it just wasn't for me. I was bored, and also I didn't like the writing style. It just personally wasn't for me. But you know, we move on. Okay, and then after that I read Undeniable, and after that I read Insatiable by Melanie Harlow. I'm actually really enjoying the series, and I definitely will continue. I started reading the series because I actually want to read Ignite, and I heard that you can read it by itself, but with series I prefer to read them all together, so I decided to do that. So both of those books I rated 3 stars because I enjoyed the first one a lot more than these 2, but I did still really enjoy them, and I'm pretty sure I read them quite quickly. After that I read Two for Joy. Now I started this in January and it took me until October to read, but don't get me wrong, I wasn't reading it throughout the whole year. I started and I think I read like 60-something pages and I just never picked it up again, but I did rate it 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed this. The ending of this book, I was not expecting that. Like, what a plot twist. It was actually really good. I actually enjoyed the writing style, the mystery, and the concept of this whole book was really good, and I do recommend the series. So there is a first one which is called The Man for Sorrow. It's the Magpie Society series by Zoe Sugg and Amy McCulloch, so I do recommend if you fancy something interesting. Then I read Witches of New Orleans by Bridget Dellery. This I rated 1 star. It just personally wasn't for me. I read it because, well, I actually listened to it. I listened to it because it was like fast and I was doing a reading vlog and I needed one more book to finish, and it wasn't for me. Didn't like it, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. Okay, after that I read Praise by Sarah Kate. This book, wow, I rated it 5 stars. It was so good. I loved it. There's a reading vlog coming very, very soon for this series, so keep a look out for that. But this is just so good. I didn't think I would actually like it because of what it's about and like the whole concept of this book, but I actually really enjoyed it. I do highly recommend this series, and you'll get like my full review of it, my reading vlog. Then I read Eyes on Me. This is also a 5-star read for me. Loved it. Again, you'll get my full review in my reading vlog. I don't want to ruin anything yet, but it was so good. After that, I read Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This took me a while to read. I actually started it in September, and I did keep saying that like I wasn't enjoying it. It was kind of boring. It was kind of slow. If I got to the 200-page mark, I would DNF. But after I got to the 200-page mark and a bit after, I actually started to really enjoy it. So I did rate it 4 stars. But yeah, so that is that. I think there is a reading vlog of my review of this, but I did enjoy it near the end. After that, I read Give Me More by Sarah Kate. This is also another 5-star read for me. So good. I actually didn't think I would enjoy this one because it is an MMF, but I did enjoy it. So again, you'll get my full review in the reading vlog. After that, I read No Exit by Taylor Adams. This I've been wanting to read for a very long time, and I finally got to it. I actually rated it 5 stars. It was so good, and it kept me intrigued, kept me reading, and it was great. And I'm glad that I decided to read it in October. After that, I read It Starts With Us by Colin Hoover. Wow, I finally got it. I finally read it. I've got a whole reading vlog of this book. I think it was my last video. Yeah, it would have been my last video. So if you haven't checked that out yet, go and check it out if you want all my reviews. There's a spoiler-free, it's spoiler-free, but there's a spoiler part at the end, so if you're interested. But wow, this book, I'm so glad that I got Lillian Atlas's story, and everything just is so good. No words for this book. Like, go and read this if you haven't yet. But start with it. It Ends With Us if you haven't read that. Start with It Ends With, and then read this. And the last book I read was Bound by the Past by Cora Riley. This is the 7th book in the Born by Blood Chronicle series. It's a mafia series. I rated this 3 stars. This was my least favourite book of the series, but I still enjoyed it, if that makes sense. Like, I still liked it, but it was the least fun because it was a repeat of the couple, and I think he was just getting like kind of his side of like the male's point of view of things, and like it going from like past to it was confusing sometimes, but I did still enjoy the read. So those are all the books I read in October. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you want, it's free. I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.